So thanks for joining in. As most of you know, Rise for YC is a program by Razorpay Rize where we help Y Combinator applicants through their application process. This is done on different stages. One is through these sessions that we hold, where we bring in YC alumni to explain their experience, their insights. What do they feel is, the best way to go forward? What are their insights? What was their experience and journey like? Apart from these, we also do one-on-one application reviews. So if you have your YC application ready, our panelists will provide some review or some feedback to help you stand out in that top 1% and stand out with YC and get that interview call. And if you do get that interview call, we also help with mock interviews. On a side note, we also provide a lot of resources such as sample videos, demos, applications, articles, blogs. So you can check all of those out. I will be posting those links in the chat as well. So for now, that's Rise for YC for you. This is a completely free of cost program. So this is just to help you all achieve that goal of making it to YC. Having said that, here is Amartya, someone who has been with Rise for YC in a previous season, and he can tell you about what his experience was like. And he will be walking you through what his application process was like and how he wrote his application and how you folks can also, write your YC applications. So we will first let Amartya speak, and then the next half of the session, we will take questions from the audience. Does that sound good?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay. All right. So that's my time. Thank you. And Amartya, that's the stage is yours now.
Sure. Cool. Guys, we can keep it pretty interactive because me talking whole time won't add any value. So if you have any specific questions, you can just stop me and we can just discuss on that. So that'll be awesome. We have Anna. Let's try to make most out of it. Sure. So I'll quickly give you a brief about how my application process was and how my interview process was. Okay. Cool. So it was my fourth application. Somewhere in mid of September or October, we were trying to write that. First things first, make sure that whenever you're writing an application, it's easily readable. Anyone can understand what's your value prop is. And whenever you're writing application, and this I'm doing this sessions with multiple folks, and I constantly get these kind of questions like, what should we mention in that? And the most important thing that we have to make sure that should come out very directly from your application is, and it should come straight, is what do you know about this product or this problem that no one else knows about? Or if other people know about this pain point, what is one thing unique that you know? It can be your market insight, it can be your product, it can be your experience, it can be your customer segment that you have chosen. What is one thing that is unique and why you people, like you and your co-founding team, are the best in the world to build that? That's it. The entire YC application revolves around this. So we have to make sure our application is easily readable because the person who will be reviewing, he'll be reviewing more than hundreds of thousands of applications, correct? So you have to stand out. That is one. Second, if he is able to understand, because whatever you're building, most probably, trust me on this, the person who is reviewing your application would have seen something similar in that space. So it's not going to ever happen that you are trying to create something out of the blue and he doesn't even know about it. So don't try to play that card. Cool. So what are the questions that we should focus upon? First thing, your background. So highlight that, why it is relevant. Whatever you're building, if you have two people, highlight why you two are the best people to build that. That is one. Second, clear distinction in roles and responsibilities. That should be clear from day one. The one thing that leads to the most YC failures is people writing, we have two people, both of them are co-CEOs. Or it is not clear who's CEO or CTO, who's building, who's not building, who's selling. So these kind of things clearly come out from the application, okay? It should be clear whenever you're shooting a video for your application also, just make sure that the moment you introduce yourself, you should say, hey, hi, I'm the CEO or the CTO of this company. and I'm the CEO and CTO of this company, correct? Make sure your experiences align with the roles that you're having. If you're saying you're CTO, you should have some kind of technical background in that space. If you are saying that you're CEO, you should have sold something in the past. Okay. I said I was the CEO, I was purely technical guy, but I said that I'm selling in a dev tool space where I'm selling to the fellow developers and I know exactly what they want. And that's why I made my case like that. Okay. The next question that you should take care of is, whenever you have answered this, the next question is what is unique insight, which I've talked about, that you have to actually answer. And don't write a lot of stuff. Just write in 2 or 3 lines what you exactly think is unique. Okay. It can be from, as I said, your personal experience, your background, etc. And then we'll go and discuss about who are the competitors in this space. Okay. So there can be multiple answers to this. One way to quickly answer this in the best possible manner is look at the incumbents in this space, if that is possible. And if you have incumbents, okay, if you're in the AI space, there is no incumbent. But then you have to look for the existing partners and players who are building in that space. Okay. What I see most often and why people get confused is they always have this misconception that YC funded a startup who does something similar in the previous batch. Will they accept me in this batch? Or am I any good in this? Don't worry about those things. You should only worry about one thing, which is, does your idea stand out? Because YC does competing but every other batch. In a single batch, you'll find 3 startups doing exactly same thing. And it doesn't matter to them. What matters to them is how technical you are, what is the unique insight, and can you build the product? Okay. So when answering that kind of competition question, you should think about one thing. Do you have competitors? Can you take them down? A. B. Don't mention any player who is doing less than 10 million in ARR, because then it is like blind leading the blind. Okay. Don't mention any small players who are in the market. Mention big players, because that shows the ambition that your company is going to build. Okay. That is the second piece. And I want to tell you, be as ambitious as possible when you're writing your IC application. What I mean by that is, whenever you're writing application, make sure that the partner who is reading that application feels that the bet he's going to take on you, that you will become the next $1 billion company, is actually real. And I don't say that you make your market size as $5 trillion. What I mean to say is, the way you write your application, make sure that you sound ambitious in that. Okay. And that is the most important thing. Apart from that, there are some questions like in the YC application, which talks about what you would be doing if you were not doing this. What are the other startups that you could have been building? These are some tricky questions. Why? Because we have a lot of company in our batch who submitted some other idea, said something else in the interview, and they built something else in the batch. Okay. Why does that happen? Why? Because YC founders knows that. And I'll give you an example. We have a company in our batch. The founders had the background in SpaceX, Tesla, Microsoft, etc. And they were building something in HR tech. And I remember Michael saying to them, why are you building in HR tech? You can build something in robotics or SpaceX, etc. Right now they're building that. They recently got a contract of $1 million from a government agency. So what to look forward is actually the people, because at this stage, they don't have anything to bet on. They just can bet on, are people ambitious and do they have the right skills to build? As simple as that. So make sure these 2 things come out clearly. And lastly, I'll repeat this thing. A lot of people forget this, which is, make sure that you have some unique insight in the business proposition that you're writing and highlight it in simple, understandable words, which should be in 1 line. So these are my best practice. I'll leave the floor open so that we can have some Q&As going on. Yep.
Folks, you
So,
can
Amartya,
either
I'd like
raise
to
your
ask.
hand. Yeah, you can either raise
Yeah.
your hand or put it in the chat. Let's take it one by one. Okay, awesome. Sudhanshu, go for it.
Hey man, thank you for your insights.
I'm applying for the first time, and you said that your application got selected in the fourth time that you did, right? Would you be able to you know maybe pinpoint or just throw some light on the first three times when you applied, what could have possibly gone wrong, and what were the obvious mistakes that the newcomers like me or somebody who's applying for the first time, is most likely to make? And you obviously know that, oh, this is what I should not have done, and this is what I really corrected the fourth time when I did it.
Sure, that's a nice question, because you should learn from mistakes, not from the things that you have done. So I'll tell you what was wrong in the first three one. There was no understanding of why we are building the product. And YC always looks for agency, okay? The first three times when I filled my form, the amount of time that I spent on researching on that idea and the amount of market experience that I had was near zero. One time I was building something in a social e-commerce space. One time I was building something in, I'm not sure what was it. Every other idea didn't even relate nearly to what I was doing on my daily job.
Also, so the fourth time when you did, it was actually a different idea and not the same thing that you were gradually building onto the next step. Okay.
Yeah, it was a new idea, and it was a different co-founder, and it was very much related to my past experiences, where I was working in. So the three things that didn't align in the first three applications was I was applying as a CEO, and I didn't had any experience in the industries where I was trying to build. The insights that I had was nobody can call them unique. Okay. If you can Google something and find that it's not unique, understand that. Okay. And third, the amount of depth in the application that we showed, today, if I read that application, I'll say there's no depth in that. Anybody can spend 2 or 3 weeks writing the application. And that was just written for the sake of application that I want to apply into YC. It was not like a startup.
And by depth, when you say depth in terms of the knowledge or just the sheer amount of writing? I believe it's knowledge.
Don't write a lot. Nobody has time. That's the first thing. Don't write a lot.
Right.
But in the sense, like, if someone will ask you in whatever field you're building, you know exactly the insider information. For example, if someone will ask me how much time is wasted in fixing bad code, I know exactly who are the stakeholders involved, what does the process look like, how developers are experiencing it, how managers are experiencing it, where are the blockers, who are the tools, what are the revenue, what, etc., etc. So that is what I mean by depth.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for your time. Bye.
Okay, Akshat, can you switch on your camera?
Yeah, hey. Hey, Amrita, thanks for all the details which you have shared. These are really unique. Okay, I have actually two questions. The one question I have is, last year we applied to YC, and I believe what you just said, like it didn't have that level of depth or that level of unique insights that was missing in that, and I can agree on that side because we also applied in a very narrow timeline. We applied in just 2-3 days, and we just wanted to apply. That's why we did that. But later on, what we saw is a very similar idea to ours was selected in the same batch. It was called Byte Side, and we were also doing something similar. And we were way ahead as compared to them. Like we have done 10,000 orders, and they haven't even released the product. They were they were building something. So I wanted to understand how this differentiation happens. For example, the founder of the other one was a XYC person. Is that something which matters? And once you answer this, I have another question. I will come to that.
Okay, that's a personal comment because I know the founders personally of Byteside.
Okay.
Won't make a personal comment on him, but if you look at the background of the co-founders, that matter a lot. So if you look the CTO of Byteside, he's the guy who actually got a recommendation from the CEO founder that he is the best system engineer in the world that he ever found out. And the CEO is the guy who actually led a previous startup where he did a journey of $0 to $1 million individually. So a lot matters on the founders and the founders' background. So whenever you guys are writing your personal background, write into the depth. Because when I see two applications doing the exactly same thing, I look, because it's all people's game. Okay. It's all people. And if I look a person with a background that, okay, this guy in the same field have done 0 to 1 million, and he's building with a guy who is known by one of the YC founders as the best system engineer out in the world, I am pretty much motivated to take a bet on that because that bet will play out. Okay. So it's not a personal thing. It's just they would have elaborated it in a better manner. Yeah.
Got you. And another thing is like a lot of people, even when you talk to a lot of VCs, they talk about give me some unique insights. Now, for me, and maybe I'm wrong. For me, unique insights have always been like my customers who have been like using the product. What are they saying about it? What I have observed as a experience which I have provided, things like that. And maybe I feel that I may not be getting what is that unique insight which people talk about. So, can you give some example of what you define as a unique insight?
Okay, that's not a generic thing that you can apply for every startup. Every startup is very different. I can't tell you what is the unique insight in your business. But I can
But
tell
any
you some,
example can give me the right direction. Okay, this is what you usually say.
what I say is a unique insight. Okay. Cool. I'll take the example of my startup. Uh, Whenever developers are fixing code, the amount of time that is wasted is huge. How we can make sure that is reduced to near zero and accurately. One thing is, if you're a developer, you have used tools like Sonar, Veracode, or something. If you know how to write good AST parsers in a compiler level, and you can actually fix it. And when you try, it actually fixes the code and reduces your time and saves you money. So this is a unique insight because you can apply it, you know what is the pain point, and you know how to solve it. And now it will boil down to why you're the best person in the world to write the best compiler engines. There I can prove that my team actually worked in a high frequency trading firms. My co-founder has that experience, my team has that experience, and this is why we are the best in the world to build it. This is something that you can say like, I have this insight, which I know about very deeply in the industry, and I will be able to succeed in this market, and I am the best person to build it because of these reasons. So this is how you pair it up. So it can be very different for you guys or someone else. So that's what a unique insight is. It can be a very deep customer insight. Okay. It can be a very deep process insight that you know how to execute it at a much better rate or much better uh, way.
And how you are actually the right person to solve it. That is also part
But
of
that is
it.
very important. For
Okay.
example, even if you have unique insight, it boils down always because right now you guys are raising pre-seed. We recently completed a seed round very recently after YC. And all the investors, we got some of the best investors from India and US. All the investors who invested in us, they will invest only in the people because till seed round, nothing is clear.
Correct.
Even if you're doing some great revenue, nothing is clear. It's all depends upon the people who are building the product. Yes.
Got you. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Akshat. Satyendra, you can go next.
Hi. Yeah, Amartya, thanks for having all this quite clear. I got a couple of questions. I'll start with the first one. How does it matter to have a revenue count? Because we are basically 1.5 year old. We have the product, but we're still struggling with the revenue. We got very less amount of revenue month on month. So how does this going to go impact the application?
Okay. Revenue doesn't matter, but what matters is the core KPI that you're tracking. Okay. So every startup has a key performance index. You can be as blunt as possible. Okay. You can say that, okay, for my business and for most of the B2B SaaS, the KPI is revenue. Okay. Until unless you are in B2C, that's where we track DAOs and MAUs. So let's say you are in B2B SaaS and your KPI is revenue and you're not growing pretty fast. The best answer can be, we are not growing pretty fast. We want to grow pretty fast. That's why we are applying to YC. As simple as that. And don't worry about revenue and stuff. What matters here is YC knows that, for example, the last example that the guy gave, Byteside, they had zero revenue when they applied. We had zero revenue when we applied, okay? Doesn't matter whether you have revenue or not. Don't worry about those things. YC just looks for two things, which is, do you have a relevant experience in the field that you are working in? And why you and your co-founding team is the best to solve that. That's it. Everything else can be taken care of. Even if you write in the competition section that I don't know any competition, like competitions are like with AWS, Amazon, whosoever, the big guys, YC will trust you if you have these two things sorted. Because figuring out the rest of the thing is easy. You join YC, they'll teach you how to get the revenue. So that is not a big pain for them. But for them, teaching you where to build, what to build is the biggest hassle. Because that will come from the co-founders. Okay. So don't worry about that.
Right. So my second question coming around the same, that the expertise what we require to build the whole product, we have not come from big corporate learning that. What we did is basically we were working on in the same company from last 5 years on the same tech, on the same solution building. But now from last 1.5 years, the app which we have built, now we are pretty confident that this is going to go grow and scale to the extent which we were looking at. So do you think that 4 to 5 years of experience will count here? Or is it has to be some external experience always?
Any experience relevant to what you're building is accountable.
Okay.
And that only matters. If you, whatever you're building, if you have experience in that, and relevant experience, like you shipped something very critical in that, you know exactly how it works, you know, inside out, you know, the pain points, how people are struggling with it. You have seen it daily. You have seen your coworkers seeing it daily, and you know exactly what to fix, how to fix it. That experience relevantly count. What doesn't count is that you were there as a part of the team and like 100 other people were the part of the team, and your exposure to the pain point was very limited or very less. That doesn't count.
Okay, got it. Sure. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Satyendra. Pranay, you can go next.
Hi, hi, Amartya. We are actually a team who are not that well with our technical, like we don't come from a great college, but we are working on some proper technical product that we are still in a prototyping still in the AI industry, AI field. So this is first time we are applying for YC or even applying for any accelerator program as a team, but we have different experiences. I come from a sales background. My team, my CTO comes from a AML background. So do you think that helps, or do you need something? Do you need some something will help us? Something more will help us in doing that, because we have a pretty good idea on our product, and we know who our customers are. We have spoken to our customers, and they're really interested.
Awesome. Apply.
Oh.
Apply. Apply.
Thank you.
And so I'll tell you one thing. Apply, get your application reviewed. Razorpay Rize is pretty helpful in that. If you get interview call, Razorpay Rize is again pretty helpful in that. They have super folks like Anand Krishnan, etc. They'll help you in the entire journey. So don't wait. Apply.
Thank you. But just wanted to know, like, will that be not being from a good college or having a great experience in a field, actually, will that matter? Because you also being in the similar industry, I just wanted to find out that.
See, what does it? Okay. What you said involves two things. First is not having great educational background. YC is known to is a place where Stanford grads or MIT grads leave their colleges and join YC. But it's not always like that, okay? So don't compare education with relevant experience. It can happen that you haven't had the best education, but you have a great exposure in that pain point, okay, or the area. What matters to YC is not the education bit as much, but the exposure that you have to that problem that you're solving. If you are insanely in depth about the pain point and you know exactly what you're building and you know your customers badly need it, there's no education that is going to stop you from that.
Got it. Thank you.
Thanks, Pranay. Abhishek, would you be able to switch on your video?
Hey, Amartya, I hope you're doing awesome. So yeah, the thing is, yeah, I know that YC focuses more on the team part more than the idea. So I now know that. The thing is, I'm not a like core technical or coder kind of a guy. Okay, so I'm the CEO of my startup. The thing is, apart from that, I just found out, like I just met my CTO. Okay, we just met. So what my question is, YC needs to have this, like you need to know your CTO for a certain like number of months or time so that we'll be able to allow you into the YC batch or something like that? Or like if we know each other for like a short period of time, like 1 or 2 months or 3 months, that will be okay to apply with.
Okay. So it is generally recommended that you know your co-founder pretty well, because understand it like this. Founding a company is a pretty long journey. You'll be building the startup if it works for nearly a decade. So it's very much important that your co-founder dynamics are pretty sorted. You know your co-founder well. That's why do you think YC goes and take folks right out of college? Because these guys are living together, eating together, knowing each other every day out. Okay. So that is important. But that is one of the most important decision maker, because one of the biggest reasons why startup fail is they mess up their co-founder dynamics. Okay. But that being said, it doesn't land on the premise that you met your co-founder today and you won't like it tomorrow. If you can build that premise that I met this co-founder very recently and we can work along. For me, it was like I met Chinmay 2 months ago when he filled a YC application. So, but in those 2 months, we lived together actually. So those are the things that you can mention. If you know your co-founder very well, you can write like that. Even we met like a month ago, but we clicked on these bunch of ideas and we have a relevant experience in building this. And we are the best people right in the world to build it. And that's why we think we should be accepted in the Y Combinator. That's a great pitch.
Okay, so apart from that, my second question will be what we are building. It is in the AI field, okay, as everyone is doing. But the thing is, what we are building, it is somehow includes some stuff around AGI stuff and all. Okay, so it's like it's quite hard. But the thing is, is it going to make a dent on our application that these guys just met as new co-founders? Okay, the first guy is not a technical one, so he has 5 years of experience handling software firms and building startups. Another guy was a job holder in a good company, he's a principal engineer, but what they're building is something huge, so it cannot be done, like it is not possible through a startup. Only a company like Google, like DeepMind or OpenAI has the access to it. Like it is a capital intensive plan. So what my question is, in short, that we do have a very big plan. Okay, so in short, we are building like AI twins of, like we are allowing people to build the AI twins. Okay, so they can do whatever they want. So that is the plan, that sorts out the plan. What my question is, like, why Combinator thinks like, okay, these guys can't handle this, because it will be a long time to build the MVP or like close to the initial module. So the revenue part is very like, it will be like a long thing to achieve. Okay, so if we build like a prototype or something like that, if we validate the idea that okay, we have built this prototype and we know what we're doing, so can we get help from you guys? And this is nothing like we can't build it, we can, but this is our idea and please help us. So this will be something like that. What that is my question.
Okay, so what I got from this is you're going after a very hard problem as you defined.
Yeah,
and you
hard
don't
problem. Yeah,
you will be able to build a MVP. I personally believe there is no startup which is out there where you can't build an MVP. As simple as that. In our batch, we have a guys who had to build something where they wanted to reimagine the way satellites imagery is done. Michael Siebel told them there's the exact same line. There's nothing in the world where you can't hack a small MVP and deliver it in next 3 months. And these guys took it personally, and these guys launched their first satellite, and via SpaceX, they sent the satellite even to Mars. Okay, in the batch itself. So I really don't believe there is, whatever you're building in AGI, you can actually segment it, go very specific in one vertical, make sure that it works perfectly good for one thing. I don't actually believe there is anything that you can't build or hack an MVP. Just start small. You don't have to build everything. Just pick one area, just build around it, and just mention that in the application. So what I'll suggest to you is just pick one vertical, elaborate it in your application, And when the vision aspect comes, mention that this is where we are starting. And this is our vision. And this is where we'll be taking it. And that's a crazy application.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for the insights.
Thanks, Abhishek. Mohammed, you can go next.
Yeah. Hey, hi, Amartya. Thanks for this call. And thanks to share. So my question is that I'm building in the AI for healthcare space. I've already applied once, got rejected. Applying again now. My question is very straightforward. I have a background in edtech. So before I've built a startup, sold that startup, now building in AI for healthcare. So of course the AI part is the tech part, so that becomes a common. But I don't have experience working in the healthcare field as per se. So will that be a problem?
No, absolutely not. So it doesn't matter that you don't have any direct experience in health tech. Okay, there are a lot of companies who sell to healthcare. Okay, what matters is, do you know the pain point that you're solving? For example, a lot of healthcare problems can be something which is 100% related to technology and not at all related to healthcare. Okay, so you're doing ERP or some kind of intelligence platform for them, or managing their patients, creating a catalog. All these things are technical problems, not a healthcare problem. You don't have to be an expert in healthcare for that. Okay, so that is not at all required. And and this is normal thinking. For example, if you grow tomorrow, you will have these kind of people working for you. You don't have to be
Yes.
expert. What you have to be expert is in the platform if you're building something like that. So you can absolutely go ahead, mention that you have a relevant experience building in this space. And we are picking healthcare because healthcare is one of the most rewarding space out there. It's some of the biggest check sizes that you can get from a client.
Yeah.
This makes
And second question, which is the last question, is what we are building is very much core into medtech. So it's not like something okay, you can build and then put it out there for people to test it out. Like it has to go through regulatory clinical trials, then you get a license. So in US it's FDA, in India it is CDSCO. Okay. And we are genuinely and seriously targeting both India and American market. These two markets, and there are strategic reasons for that. So when I'm building the pitch deck, should I have the market sizing for both the countries or just for India or something like that? Like, how should I structure my market sizing?
Where are you going to sell? India or US?
Uh, First India and then US, because it is easier to pass the clinical trial here in India.
Okay.
Takes
Then mention
longer time period in US.
and start with India. Say that market sizing in India is this, and we believe the market sizing in US will be this. But if you're targeting India, talk more about India. For example, how you're going to attack that market, what do you know about that market, which people don't know about.
Okay, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mohammed. Anjali, you can go next.
Thank you. Thanks, Amartya, for the insights. Super helpful. We're building a platform in the health and wellness space for women. And my background is completely in business. My co-founder's background, she's a doctor, OBGYN, and she creates content. So sorry. Sorry, is somebody speaking?
Yeah, you can go ahead, Anjali. I'll mute whoever it is.
Thank you. Yeah, so basically, my co-founder is a doctor and content creator. I have business background, but ours is it's not a tech product. Like the differentiator is not going to be tech, but it's going to be delivered through a tech platform. So right now we don't have a technical co-founder on board yet. We are interviewing a few people and we have some good candidates. So is it okay to is it okay to not have a technical co-founder? Because I've heard from multiple YC founders that that's key, having a technical person on team. But like to say that we are right now interviewing to find the best person. We do have like a CTO of a Indian unicorn as a board of advisor who's helping us manage our development agency and kind of like, work with them to make sure that they set up a good platform for us while we interview the CTO. So I just wanted to understand how to position this on our YC app. And if it's imperative that we have somebody on the team, even if it's on temporary basis, before we apply.
Okay, so what I got is like you're building something in healthcare where you don't require technology to be there because you're partnering with someone and you're selling through technology. Technology is like acting like a distributor, but the main thing will come from the business.
Yeah, it's like an aggregator marketplace. So it's not, the tech is not the differentiator. It's going to be the people that we get on, both like the doctor side and the the patient side. So that is, we're connecting them in the fertility space for women. So educating women about their fertility journeys, building a community around it, and then connecting them with the right doctors and care providers. So the tech is not really the different, I mean, it should be, but it's not the main product. But we definitely need a CTO because that's how we're going to deliver this thing.
Okay, so firstly, not having a CTO is a bummer. But since you're so right now we can't do anything, so I'll suggest you one thing. Whenever I hear a thing like this guy is on my CTO board or advisory board, they're not going to write code for you, correct? So they are not going to help you a lot. What can actually help you is you going and saying that we have a dev agency that is working tirelessly. These guys have highest integrity. They're very perseverant, and they are helping us build a platform. We have a very extensive background in this sector. We know the distributors, we know the agencies, and we have a very unique insights in this, how to get new distributors, how to claim that. And we have worked at ground zero and we have relevant experience. Going forward, not right now, going forward, we'll be actually creating this dev agency and hiring all those folks in our team, which will be led by another person. That person will be called as a CTO. And then we'll be running our team. Okay, you can frame it in that manner. But make sure that you say that don't use the word dev agency also. I'll say that use the word contractors, because agency some felt like the same person is working for 3 different other products. Okay.
Yeah.
So use that word. And yeah, I won't, if I were you, I won't mention about that person who is your advisor as a person who's contributing. You can say that advisor is helping us connect to these folks, but I won't like to see that person because I know that person is not going to write code for you. So it doesn't add anywhere.
Okay. Thank you so much. Super helpful.
Thanks, Anjali. Cool, Pradeep, would you be able to switch on your video?
Yeah, sure. Hey,
Perfect.
Amartya. Thanks for the insights. So I'll quickly come to the question. So me and my co-founder, we built a startup before in e-commerce space. So while building that, we have found certain issues in the customer care segment, right? And what we are building right now corresponds to what we have faced as a problem. It is in AI space. We do have unique insights for Indian market and what needs to be built, right? But the problem arises because the Indian market does not have sufficient time at this point for the AIs and enough paying customers. While we have 3 design partners that we are working with, and many people have shown interest that they would like to pilot with us, but we still feel that bigger market is in the US, right? So how do you think the positioning should be? Because you again built something on the AI space, right? Because it is tricky at this point because the unique insights are from India market, but again, being AI, it can be horizon, right? And we can build for US market as well. How do you think the positioning should be and to capture the larger TAM?
Position it for US.
Sorry, what?
You can directly position it for US. If India is not the market, position it for
Okay.
US.
Okay. So in that case, there is a problem, right? Problem as in, I'm not sure whether that is a problem because a couple of companies in the previous batch are building the same thing as we are building, right?
Don't worry about
At
that.
this, sorry, what?
Any company who's doing less than $10 million in ARR, you shouldn't be worried about it.
All right.
Because
So do you think that we do need to have a technical moat in this case? Because we do not at this point. We know what to do, but right now we do not have a technical moat.
moat is not required. What is required is whatever you're building. Do you know a few things about that, which you think is pretty unique, and you have learned either from your customers or your interactions? You can
Right.
mention that. If there's an issue of TAM, AI for India, AI's TAM in India is low, pretty less, but you can actually go and say, yeah, we are joining YC, so we are building for US. We'll be there in US. You can mention that. And third, yeah, if any other company you see from the YC batch that is doing it, don't worry about it. YC finds same companies doing exactly same thing in the same
Right.
batch. So don't worry.
Okay, so what I understand is we can directly position for the US, and we can say it's okay to have Indian design partners at this stage. And we say
Yeah.
that after YC, we anyway have to build an US company, then we can come over and sit there. Okay, all right, thank you.
Like my most direct network is in India today. That's why we have Indian design partners. The moment we'll
Right.
come to US, we'll have a network there and we'll build for US.
Awesome, sounds good. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Gurpradeep. Chinmay, would you be able to switch on your camera?
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Amartya, for taking the time out.
I think there are two Chinmays. Just a second.
Oh,
Chinmay
I'm sorry.
R. Yeah. Chinmay R, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here, Sharif. Yeah.
Please switch on your video.
Yeah, there's some issue with my camera, so I'll just
Alright.
talk. Yeah, hi, Amartya. So I have two questions. One is with respect to the question in the YC application, how much money we could make. Okay. So I'm building a product which is what we can say is Siri for SaaS products. Our customers will be SaaS companies, whereas the users will be mainly the users of the SaaS companies. The efficiency and the productivity of the users of the SaaS companies will be improved. So I wanted to answer this question based on value proposition because we are still in MVP stage, but the efficiency is on the users of SaaS companies. How can I answer this question? And how can I reach that number for the application?
Okay. Do you know, just do bottoms up calculation, like, for example, if you're selling to a SaaS company who is selling it to their users, how much how much is they charging to their users? Let's get that. And what is the percentage increment that you're providing? Is it like a 20% efficiency, 30% efficiency that you're providing to them? Then attribute to the cost. For example, if you are improving their value prop by 30%, then it goes like, okay, either they can charge higher or they can reduce cost internally. So either it will be cost saving for them or increasing the cost. You can put it in that manner.
Okay, yeah, that answers. And one more question is, we are still in very early stage and we have not registered the company. So will this matter for YC application? And the other thing is, most of the SaaS companies are based out of US. So what do you suggest for us to register our company in India or register it in US?
If you can wait, you should, because if you're pretty confident, even if you register in India, YC will tell it to flip if you get selected in YC. So you have to create a US entity. So and that's a bet that you have to take. For example, it's a fair bet. Bet is basically like if you're confident that your application, and that's also a bad thing to say, but if you think that your application is solid, yeah, and your Razorpay Rize guys can help you in that, and you can take a bet that, okay, I won't register for a couple of months because flipping an Indian entity into US entity is a big task. It requires a lot of legal work, etc. Yeah, that's a bet. But if it doesn't pan out good, then it will be like you're at least 2 or 3 months slow in registering your company and getting your clients onboarded. So it's a risky thing that you have to decide on.
Okay, but registration should not matter for our YC application selection, right?
We register that is not even a question for them.
Okay, thank you. And just for the follow-up on the first question, so you told we can answer it based on the 30% increment of efficiency of the users, right? But how can we convert this into a number? Because the expectation in the application is a number, right? They want some revenue number, like how much can we make? So
what I told you was, for example, if your customers are charging their customers X dollar, okay?
Okay.
You're saying that you can save them or help them improve the efficiency or cut cost. So you can actually take X dollars and your percentage, and you can multiply that. That will be the costing that you're saving to them, okay? Or helping them.
Okay.
And then you can say that we take a commission of 5%, 10%, 20% of that, and that is our revenue model. Okay, I actually can't create your revenue model because I don't know the business, but this is it. So what you have to target is basically the amount of value that their customers, basically your customers, are going to provide to their customers, okay? And you know the costing of them, okay? Because you can go to the and find the pricing, and then you can figure it out. If you're improving them by 50%, then you are adding, if it was $100 product and you're improving the efficiency of 50%, you're helping that company generate or save $50, correct?
Yes.
On top of $50, you can say that I want $20. Okay.
Okay.
And then you multiply that over the entire TAM of that particular company, and that becomes your TAM. Do you get that?
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that answers Amartya. Thank you.
All right, folks, we have less than 15 minutes to go. So I would ask each of you to please limit your questions to one question only. We have a lot of people in the queue. So over the next few minutes, let's just quickly go through all these questions. Gosu, you're up next.
Yes. Hi, Amartya. Thank you so much for your insights. So my question is, like, right now, like we are still students in IIT college. Okay, we don't have any corporate exposure or anything, but like we already had a previous startup in robotics, and all of our co-founders are completely technical. We don't have any knowledge in fintech industry. And right at present, like we pivoted the previous model and we shifted to our idea to fintech. Like we don't have any any idea, right? But in the fintech space how it works. But our product we are building it for is something new. So like how can we show the YC like we are the right persons to build this? Like how can we do that?
Okay, sorry, what I got from this is like you don't have relevant experience in this field.
Yes.
Wait. That's hard because if you don't have relevant experience, I will not trust you that you have great insights. And if you don't have great insights, you won't be able to build product which people want. So I will urge you to actually find or talk to people. If you don't even have relevant experience, go very deep into the problem area. Just go ahead, talk to a bunch of folks who are there in that industry, understand what are their pain points, and try to listen to them. Find the most.
Sorry, Amrita, for that. The thing is like we are doing all the things like what the market requires. So we're going to them, we're talking to them what are the points, and like we're building the things based on their requirements only. But what I'm like we don't have like there's so many regulations comes into picture when it comes to the fintech space in like wherever in everywhere in the world. So that is what like we don't have the experience that what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So on
If you
that,
don't have experience of legal things, you shouldn't be worried about that. Okay. I'll tell you one thing. What you should be worried about is, can you build the product? As simple as that. Don't worry about compliance, regulation, etc. Because you can obviously hire people who knows those stuff and can do that for you. But if you don't know what to build, nobody can help you there.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Amrita.
Thanks, Goshu. Narayan, are you here?
Yeah, hi. Hey, first of all, thanks a lot for the session. So one quick question that I had is like how important is it to work full time on the idea? Because all my co-founders right now, we're still working. We're working at a different startup right now, and we're building this thing. And since we're not working full time on this, how to handle this question on the application?
Okay. That's a tricky one. That was one of the main problem area that I had in my first 3 applications, that I was working somewhere else. One of the biggest thing, because YC looks for commitment. Okay. So you can answer it like in this manner. We have ton of relevant experience, okay, in this space, and we are about to leave our current jobs, and we spend our whole nights and weekends building this thing. Okay. That is the best answer that you can give right now. And you can assure them that the moment you see some traction, something, you will just leave your current jobs and you're dedicated to build this. And just relate it in this manner that whatever you do in your day job actually relates to whatever you're actually going to build.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Chinmay, you can go next now.
Hi, Amartya. Thanks again for taking the time out. So my co-founders and I are building this SaaS solution in the MarTech space, and it's an AI-enabled end-to-end SaaS solution in its final form, and that just gets a bad rep, I feel. So while filling out the YC application for the question that says, what is your company going to make? Should we focus on the final vision that we have, that we're solving for a workflow instead of one problem, or but we're worried that that might show that we lack focus or we're trying to do everything, or should we focus? So obviously a lot of functions will be integrations, a lot of it will be proprietary tech. So should we focus on the proprietary tech that we're building and answer that, or should we focus on the first two versions that we're going to do so that we can convey what problem we're going to solve first? So how should we go about it?
Start with the most impressive, most relevant, and the thing that you're spending most time on, whatever it is. Start with that particular piece of tech. And then explain that in 1 or 2 lines. And then go ahead and say that this is where we're beginning. This is just the starting. The end result looks something like this. And there you explain your grand vision, that too in 2 lines, so that they can understand, okay, the guys have the understanding. They know from where to begin, where to end.
Okay, so even if we end with saying how it's going to be an end-to-end solution, that's fine. Like that won't be problematic.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine. So all the SaaS that gets built, they start from a point SaaS, and then it becomes a platform. So it's perfectly fine.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.
You too.
Thanks, Chinmay. Akshat, I see you in the line, but since there's a lot of folks who haven't gotten to ask their questions, I will ask you to post your question in the chat. Vishal, you can go next.
Hey man, I have just a simple question. First is, does referrals work? And the second would be, I'm taking on a huge guy, and going against perplexity is something I don't know will YC appreciate or not.
Okay. Taking recommendations help or not? They're super helpful because only a YC founder can refer you. And YC actually gives a lot of weight if a YC founder is referring you, because that shows them, okay, this candidate is referred by someone who we funded, who we trusted. So that matters a lot. And whenever you say that you're taking down a huge incumbent, that is the best business. Where because that shows YC that you have that ambition that you're going to take them down. What matters is then how you're going to take them down. Everything else, because after YC also that will matter the most. Like if you have an incumbent which is slow and old, and you are 10x better in terms of pricing or basically accuracy or fast, you actually won the game. That's all it is. So go for it, I would say.
Yeah, so I actually got recommended by more than 5 guys, I think by now, 5 YC alumni, and still no interview. So
Okay.
it's
Don't do a lot also, because then it shows that you're just reaching out to a bunch of people. It is highly
no,
unlikely.
all of these guys are people that I have worked with in their companies. I've worked with them.
We'll get it, don't worry. They have till today YC. We had today was our last YC meet, and so YC was busy with our batch. They'll get free from next week. So they'll have time to review your applications.
Thanks.
Thanks, Vishal. Dhruv, if you're here. Dhruv Mehra? Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. Hey, hi. Hi, Amartya. So I have a question. I've been building my startup for like last few months now. When I started, it was mostly like because I had no clear idea of if there is a need. So I was running through POCs. Luckily, those POCs turned out to be fine. We got paid and everything. Customers liked our product, like not product, but our POC. Now, when we are converting and building our product, like based on those insights, now is when I'm trying to generate recurring revenue. Till now, we got paid one time, but now onwards, it's going to be like recurring, which I believe most of those clients will convert. So in YC application, there's a question that how much money are you making and something on those lines. So do you think I can attribute that money which I made from POCs as my product revenue or not?
Yeah, so you can write like a one-time revenue was this, and going forward, we'll have recurring revenue of this. That's awesome. So there's something as recurring revenue and total revenue or yearly revenues.
Yeah.
Just
I can just clearly say that, like just the way I told you that this was from the POC, and then going forward, this will be the recurring.
Guys, and this is one information for everyone. Don't exaggerate in numbers because they are treated badly. We have seen cases where YC even accepting a founder, and then they found something is wrong, they would reject the application, and that has happened from India itself. So make sure
That
that the
was
number.
the reason I was confirming this. Otherwise, I would have simply said that these are the numbers from my product. but I thought
You
I'll
can
confirm.
absolutely mention like this is one time, the way you told me, exactly mention like that. That's the best way.
Yeah. And it's an important thing because I made money from that POC, so I thought I should like it should reflect in my applications. I don't want to leave it too.
Exactly,
But
you
cool,
made money. Yeah,
cool. Good to know. Thanks, man.
that's fine.
Thanks to Bhuvan, if you're here. Bhuvan? Okay. Abu Zar Talib.
Hello. Yeah,
Yes.
Bhuvan.
Hey, Bhuvan.
Actually, my camera is not working,
Okay.
so I'll just directly ask. Actually, what I'm building, I'm a solo person that I'm building. It's a research project. I'm doing something innovation work, and still in research phase, and I have to build it from scratch. So I'm the only person doing coding, electronics, and hardware, all the stuff. So is it right I can apply in YC at this stage, or I should gather up my team? I have few five peoples who can I rely on, but is it right at that moment?
Okay, this is what I tell everyone. Even if you have slightest chance, you should apply. Why? Because writing YC application tells a lot to you about what you're building.
Mhm.
Whenever you answer those 14, 15 questions, you get to
Mhm.
learn a lot about your startup than you know today. Because you think hard on those questions and you write it down. Okay? So it's a
Okay.
very good exercise. You should do that, obviously. And don't worry about whatever it will be. Even see, statistically, only 1% people will
Mhm.
get into it. Okay?
Mhm.
So just send it. If you're lucky, you'll get it. Don't worry about that.
I actually contacted two of the investors in India and participated in one accelerator. I got in finalist, but not getting the funding because they were saying it's too risky to invest in that at that time because you are in early stage, and the other investor it's just let me hanging, so it's no go. That's why I'm thinking about YC. Yeah,
Don't worry about that. YC is way better than Indian investors. So be
yeah.
rest.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thanks for your
Bhuvan.
time.
Amartya, we have about 1 minute to go. I still see at least 5 people who have raised their hands. Are you okay to extend the session, or should we wrap it up with one last question?
I can extend for 5 minutes more. Five.
All
And
right.
then, yeah.
Got it. Abu, you can go next.
So, hi Amartya, thank you for the session. So, we're student and entrepreneurs from Bitspilani. We're building SaaS in the sustainability space, have relevant experience and cover boxes across, say, tech strategy, sustainability, etc. 3 co-founders. But is that sufficient to show fit? If not, how do we like substitute for the same?
It's perfect. The fit is perfect.
I
Three
mean,
folks who
as a team, we're insecure about our experience not being full time or, something like that.
don't worry about that. You have way better things that most of the folks don't have. That is, you know your co-founders very deeply. You share the same pain point. Your co-founder bond is strong. If you have relevant split among the people, like he's the CEO, he's the CTO, he's a product guy, that's the best thing. Okay? And you're young, you're hustlers. Best mention like this.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, all the best, Abu. Shravant, if you're here.
Yeah, I actually can't turn on my video as I have a camera issue. Yeah, so I'll go on. Hi, Amartya. Thanks for the session. It's really helpful. So, I have a quick question. So, we are building a B2B product. So, we'll sell goods directly from producers to our customers, which are not the end customers in the pyramid. So, one problem we feel while filling the YC form is that we have done customer review, that our customer review, that is the end retailers. We have got their pain points, we have listed all them down, we are working towards that as well. But both of us don't have an domain experience, that is, we don't come from this domain. We are both college students and currently in our 4th year. We're both technically good, and we are related to the pain point, but not coming from that background. And apart from that, we are sorted in everything else, and we are trying to build our MVP enough. So it is like a marketplace. So I think it shouldn't take us more time, and we are working on this idea and focusing more on the idea rather than like focusing more on the pain points and iterating over it for about 2 to 3 months. It's been part time. and now we are trying to apply to YC. So do you think it will affect our application?
No, just mention that we are very technically sound. Every day we talk to our users, people who are associated with this, and we are just sitting with them and building the product. That's the best answer.
Okay. Thank you, Amartya.
Thanks, Shravant. Karthik, you can go next.
Yeah, hi, Amartya. Very nice to see you. My name is Karthik. I've been a sailor. I've been a navigating officer in the Merchant Navy. I've sailed on ships. About 3 years ago, I came ashore to build. Since I experienced a lot of issues on ships related to tech, so I came ashore and I started building, tech-related marine companies. So I already run a startup called as Marine Insight, and we've launched AI products called Marine GPT. Apart from that, I'm also a consultant with multiple marine startups in building tech products. The thing is, right now, what I'm trying to build is a new company. It's basically AI agents to automate tasks for roles in ships and shipping companies, which hasn't been seen in the industry yet, right? But the thing is, I'm doing multiple things, right? Because I've spoken to users from my different startups that I'm doing, and I'm doing a lot of things along with this. So how do I navigate this in the sense that I'm doing this full time, but yet I'm doing a lot of other things? So how would it be to portray this, this analogy to YC? How do I draft this better?
The moment you explain me the pain point in your experience, I just said that this is the best idea.
Okay.
Why? Because this is a boring idea. People
Yeah.
won't pay. Boring ideas are always the places where people make money, a lot of money. So
Okay.
just explain it in this manner that
Okay.
this is what I see every other day.
Right.
Like this problem creates so much of trouble. Nobody knows about it. I know about it because I have done it. I've consulted people to fix it. Now with the advent of AI, I believe this can be solved at a 10x better pace. And
Correct.
I have distribution network, everything in this industry can build it. Just put it
Okay.
in that way.
All right. Understood. Thanks, Amartya.
Thank you, Karthik. Nishal, last question. You
Yeah,
can.
thank you for that. I made it just in time.
Yes.
Thank you, Amrita, for the session. A lot of insights, man. Two questions I wanted to ask specifically. One, me and my co-founders are in different countries, actually. I live in India, she lives in Australia. So we're working remotely on this. Second, we're actually building an AI product, which is around social media content generation, digital AI influencers. That's how the product is. Now, the product has two phases because building an AI model is costly and it's not always sure that it will give the production level results. So first, we're creating a pipeline using the existing tools, which is missing in the industry. People are doing it scattered parts by part, but we're giving an end-to-end pipeline. So we don't have a USP at the first phase of the product where we're creating a pipeline, but yes, you are saving time and people are ready to pay money. It's in beta though right now. We are going to roll out next month. Second is that we want to build digital AI influencers, which we feel are the future. We are making models around it to put the products into ads. A lot of things have improved, but it's still a little far. So how do you think we should pitch the product? Because I see you mentioned that, hey, this is what we're building. This is the vision. How do you think that should be? Because building an AI digital influencer might seem like a year-round idea, right? It may not be built within a year to the production level quality that we can pitch to the advertisers. But if it's built, it's going to be huge. So how do you think we should portray that, within the application that we are separate? We are not making money right now. We don't have USP in first phase, but USP is the pipeline. And this is what we want to build. If you can give some clarity on that, that would be lovely.
Okay, cool. Whatever you have told me and whatever I've got from that, first thing you said that your co-founder is not in the same country, she is in a different country.
Yeah, Australia.
Doesn't matter for that. Why? Because unless you're able to collaborate, work, and actually drive results, that is the most important thing. Now coming towards what I would attribute to that question is basically you think that production level quality can't be attained with the levels of model that exist today, correct? Don't worry. You just have to convince them whatever you're building have some usage, even if the quality is low. You see YC funded Infinity AI, the company says that we'll create digital videos, and you see the video is not actually the video that you're seeing right now, me on the screen, correct? It's very defamed, but still YC promotes that heavily on every other platform. Why? Because that's a new thing, that's a break. Okay. Eventually everything will get better. That's the understanding that everybody has. So and people will understand that. You just have to say that eventually with time that will happen. We are the first movers building in the same space, and we have relevant experience exposure to build it. That's it.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Nishal. And thank you so much, Amartya. That has been really helpful. I'm sure a lot of applicants now have a lot more clarity now that they're going to approach their YC applications. Folks, we are now at the end of the session. If you have more queries or doubts, I have posted a WhatsApp link in the chat. You can join the group and the Rize team will try and answer all the queries as much as they can. We also have a follow-up session happening on Tuesday with Nipun from the Rize team. He has reviewed over 70 applications for YC and would be able to answer all of your questions. So in case you are all available and have more questions, feel free to either post it on the WhatsApp chat or join the session happening on Tuesday evening. I will be posting the registration link in the chat. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Amartya.
Thanks, Amartya.
Thank you. Bye-bye.